Hi, my name is Jillian, and I'm here to talk to you about ways to save money on your produce bills. I've researched two different food storage options that I'd like to discuss today. The first are the Greenbags, and the second are the FridgeSmarts. Greenbags are a plastic disposable single-use bag. So you only get one use out of them, but they are a little bit on the inexpensive side. They're $11 for 10 large bags, and that lasted my family about a month. So that was excellent, except that then we had to go back and buy another box and another box of these green bags. So we didn't like that. We didn't find that they were as cheap as they could be. They did work well, however, at saving our produce. So our apples that we put in the fridge at the beginning of the month, they were still good to eat at the end of the month. There was no spoilage going on because of that. However, I also am a little bit of an environmentalist, and I do not like the idea of throwing out plastic bags into my garbage, into the landfills. So I did not like them for that. The other option that I researched were the FridgeSmarts. These are a Tupperware product, and I have grown to love these. I was a little bit skeptical because they are a little bit more expensive. They're $34 for the large one, a little bit less for the medium, and then the small is actually quite cheap. But this is a single-time purchase, which saves me money, so much money, because I don't have to go back and buy another $11 product every month. So in 3 months, it paid for itself. Okay, so this is the large FridgeSmart. As you can see, there is a very handy guide that is embedded in the plastic. It's not a sticker, so you don't have to worry about losing this, it coming off in the dishwasher or anything like that. They make it as easy to use as possible. There are 3 different categories: high, medium, and low. And so each category tells you how much ventilation the produce needs. So for example, I have apples in here right now. Apples are down here. It's a medium category, which means one vent open, one vent closed. These are the vents. As you can see, I have one opened and one closed. They open and close quite easily, and the vents actually do remove for cleaning, which I like because I don't want to get any extra germs in my fridge. Well, I have 3 large FridgeSmarts in my fridge. This is how I like to organize my things. I like to have one for high foods, one for medium, and one for low. I also have a couple mediums and smalls for, if I have a thing of grapes, but I tend to like to group my things together because they can all live together if they're in the same category. For example, broccoli and spinach are both in the high category, which means both vents are open. So that would just mean that I would come over here and I would pop open my other vent like that. Let's keep that close so I don't ruin my apples. Another example would be if I had celery, which I love to have on hand, but I always ended up wasting it. Now I don't have to worry about that. And I can also put a half cut up cucumber in here. If I have them on low, which would be both vents closed, like that, they will live in here for a very long time. Now you'll notice on the bottom that there are ridges. And this just keeps all the moisture down in the ridge and the fruit up on, or the vegetables up on top of the ridges so that they don't get into any of that moisture that is coming out of them, which keeps your food from going bad sooner. This will hold a whole bag of apples or oranges. I've also put 3 medium-sized heads of lettuce in these, or a whole stalk of celery and a little bit of carrots. What I like to use for my cut up celery and carrots is the medium, because I just find that it's a little bit smaller than the large. They're not rocking around. I feel like I'm still saving some fridge space. What I do like to use for my cut up vegetables is the medium size FridgeSmart. I cut them up and put them in here. I try to put everything so that if it's a long skinny item, I put it this way in here instead of following into the groups, because I don't want them to sit in that moisture. There's also a small size, which I like to use for grapes, cherries, that type of thing. I really like the small size for smaller fruits. Then there is also the large round, which I use for any of my large round vegetables, obviously. A large head of lettuce fits nicely in here. Also cabbage, that cauliflower, that type of stuff works really nice. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email. I would love to have a chat with you about